journey. So in the first lesson, what we covered that what is the natural state that is a meditative state. And what is natural? Effortless. You need not to do anything. But in the second session, we covered who destroys this natural state and how. Can you recall? We understood the psychology of desire. In the third session, might be interesting for you, we said how to begin dropping instinctive, impulsive, and habitual mind by learning these principles. Today, Journey of Self-Discovery by Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Patanjali is the name of a master, and Yoga Sutra is a text. Sutra means the formula. What is our goal? Goal of yoga is to study these principles, to study myself, so that I can change, I can bring an end to the suffering. The moment you study a text and you study yourself in light of those principles, you are a seeker. The oldest text of yoga, Yoga Vasishtha. Vasishtha is the name of a master. So by his name, Yoga Vasishtha. You'll be surprised it contains only 50,000 verses. Then there are a couple of Upanishads that explains yoga much later, much earlier than Patanjali. So we will, in this session, we'll understand what is this sutra. Sutra means thread. So thread, does thread has to do anything with these principles? Yes. Sutra means absolute minimum phrase to hold together many principles of Eastern wisdom. You see, matter consists of atom. Now we understand. Instantly, atom consists of electron, proton, and neutron. There are 32 more particles, and these particles behave as a wave, and then we have an electromagnetic field, and ultimately, you see, that is how the atom may be known as a sutra. Why the sutra were developed? Or why Patanjali wrote in the format of sutra? Anyone can memorize the sutra for ready reference. Every sutra needs to be explained and expanded. The way I explained the atom, you see, the way I explained the atom. Now you should understand clearly that Yoga Sutra by Patanjali are 195 formulas. How it is to be explained and expanded. That is the beauty of this journey of Eastern wisdom. So first there is a commentator of the Yoga Sutra. I will not go in detail, but briefly, I will pick up only two parts. First, every sutra is explained by a commentator. That is known as bhashya. So you should not go what I explain about the Yoga Sutra. I should go to the original commentator. That is known as bhashya. Bhashya is that work which explains each of the words of the sutra. It means from the following week, if I use a particular sutra, you should pay attention to each and every word. What is the meaning? How it is related to me, and how it will help me to evolve myself, how it will help me to raise my consciousness. So the first commentator is known as the Bhasya. So there is a Vyakhya commentator, there is a Vivartika, there is a Tika, Deepika. So I'm taking only the two. One is the commentator, and second is the Vartika. It is known as Vartika. So there is a critical analysis of the original principles and the work. Original critical analysis. Why we should understand the critical analysis? Why we should understand? Just think of it. So what happens? What was explained by the first commentator, and if he has left anything, so this Vartika covers that. It doesn't leave anything. It explains the content of the original work, explaining those things which have been omitted by the commentator. And there is also one thing. That is the beauty of this teaching and understanding of the Eastern wisdom. This Vartika, who writes the Vartika, first he goes against the formula, the principle. Then he explains so that we understand our weaknesses. If we go against that, this is going to happen. And then he explains clearly. So it's a critical analysis. It is a critical analysis of. So we will pick up two, and I will also refer other commentaries to make you understand so that you can apply in daily life. The way I did it in the last session. Do you remember, Stephen? Speaker, listener, no speaker, no listener, and then when we do nothing, our impulsive, instinctive mind is at work how to bring about a change in my daily life. That is what we covered. Lara, you might have gone through the audio. Now understand, these sutras have a very few words. There is no ambiguity. There is a total clarity. Only the vital points are covered in that sutra. It can have many facets, but each must have a valid meaning. Patanjali did not write only the sutra. There are many other masters who have written. Sankhya Sutra by Kapila. There is a Brahma Sutra. There are a lot of sutras are there. So not only Yoga Sutra is there. So it should be done in a very few words, no ambiguity. It covers only the essential points. It has many facets. No extras, no redundancies. No, nothing like that. And obviously, it follows the grammar of the Sanskrit. Now see that. Every sutra explains the subject. It raises the doubt. It gives you the opposing viewpoint. And then it gives you the solution. That is the beauty. That is how we have to study, Lara, every sutra. It is not simply literal translation into English. Yoga, ath yoga anushashanam. Yoga is a discipline now, and let us follow that discipline. No, that will not work. That will not work. Now, understand that how these texts move forward, how every sutra moves forward. It has a thought flow from one subject to the next. Means first sutra is deeply interconnected with the second sutra. A clear enunciation of the subject matter, which includes establishing formally what is being explained. Why I am explaining this? So that you should keep in mind these things while understanding Yoga Sutra. Why to understand the Yoga Sutra? To study myself. I'm referring again and again. We are studying these principles to study ourselves. We don't want to be a scholar. If you become a scholar, you become a lecturer and a professor in a university without any experience. So we are doing the practice. So the first is clear enunciation of the subject matter, like mind, like intellect, like ego sense, like instinct, a lot of things. Second part is it gives you the definition of the subject matter. Third, it examines the subject. Means if he explains about the mind, then he examines the subject. So when you examine it, the subject matter of mind, you understand about your own mind. See that? See the beauty of these sutras. And then, then what happens? Then it gives you a clarity of the sutra. Take one example in the middle. It explains asana, ath yog anushashanam. No, sorry, sthir sukham asanam. So what is that meaning? Motionless state of the body with the comfort is known as asana. I'm briefly explaining, just for the sake of example. Then what is the method? So method he explains in the next sutra. Prayatna shaithilyata ananta samapattibhyam. Now see that how the asana needs to be practiced. 2 steps. First step, prayatna shaithilyata. Means what? I should not give too much of stress to the body. If I give too much of stress, the mind will enter into anxiety. If I get too less, I will fall into sleep. What is the goal? To maintain that awareness, to raise that awareness, to infuse the consciousness in the body is the goal of asana. What we are doing, we compare it with the physical exercise system. Stretch these muscles, that muscles, this bone, that is okay. But why miss the whole point? Prayatna Shathilita, that is the first part. Why I explain this sutra? Are you sitting comfortably while listening to me? You have to remain aware in the entire journey. Are you aware, or is your mind going somewhere? So first part is Prayatna Shathilita, and second part is Ananta Samapattibhyam. What is Ananta Samapattibhyam? So it's a metaphor. So I'll explain you the metaphor and then you'll understand. So there is an ocean. So according to a myth or a mythological story, there is a 1,000-mouth cobra is on the ocean. And in that 1,000-mouth cobra, the god Vishnu is relaxing, just doing meditation. So what it means? In an ocean, you have ripples, you have storm, and that cobra is protecting that god not to get disturbed in meditation. So how to apply that in our life? Every time we join the session, check. You are fully aware of the body. See that? You are fully aware of the body. You maintain that awareness and check that your mind is moving within in the space. These two are 2 steps of the practice of asana. We will talk about Hatha Yoga asanas and meditative asanas. So there is a difference between the two. Then in the third sutra, you see that the way the subject matter goes. What is asana? What is the method? What is the result? So he explains in a phrase, Tato Dandana Vighata. One becomes immune to dualities. The way, if you practice the asanas in this manner. What are physical dualities? You get a tremendous power of endurance. You can endure pain and heat and the cold at the physical level, love and the hate at the emotional level, sorrow and the happiness at the mental level. That is the way asana needs to be done. You see, and in three, it is easy to memorize. Sthir sukham asanam tato prayatna shaithilyata ananta samapatyabhyam and tato dandana vighata. You see that? Tato dandana vighata. So he says motionless state of the body, not forcing the body to be still, but moving the mind within, withdrawing the instinctive, impulsive, habitual mind from the body inside. That will make the body still. What will happen? You can manage anxiety, you can manage tension, you can manage depression, you can manage your anger. Just three principles in a nutshell to give you that sense of clarity. So we will start studying these sutras in that manner, and we will see how we can apply in our daily life. So in that respect, the third session that we covered last week is most important. Listener, you heard it. Now you have changed your perception. With that changed perception, you see, you meet your near and dear ones like Sergey invited his friend. That's so wonderful. That's wonderful. Anytime. So now, at least he became a speaker to his friend. That's why he's attending the program. See that? He might have said something. This beard guy is good or bad, whatever it is. That I don't care. But anything, that is beautiful. Why? Because you start applying these principles in your relationship. It has nothing to do with cult, religion, dogma, belief. It has to do with pure knowledge to change your life. And the third part is you're neither listener nor, so you do the practice regularly, and then you are living your life day in, day out with these principles. So you remember those, you sing those principles, and it will not take long. Then you see the tremendous change in your life. That is the way this journey of self discovery through this Patanjali Yoga Sutra will take place. So now is the time to start our practice. Let us start. Close your eyes.